Hey, how's it going, church family and friends? If you don't know me, my name is Scott. I work with the youth ministry at Capital City Baptist Church, and I also do the Thursday Daily Devos. Today, we're going to be taking a look at John chapter 12, verses 20 through 26, and it reads like this. Now, there were certain Greeks among those who came up to worship at the feast. Then they came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida of Galilee, and asked him, saying, Sir, we wish to see Jesus. Philip came and told Andrew, and in turn Andrew and Philip told Jesus. But Jesus answered them, saying, The hour has come that the Son of Man should be glorified. Most assuredly I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much grain. He who loves his life will lose it, and he who hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. If anyone serves me, let him follow me, and where I am, my servant will be also. If anyone serves me, him my Father will honor. So let me paint the picture. A few Greek Jews or proselytes come up to Philip wanting to see Jesus. But instead of taking them to him, Philip and Andrew, they both go to Jesus. Now, we might expect Jesus would be excited about meeting these folks. I mean, surely Jesus gets excited when people want to meet him, right? Well, instead of telling Andrew and Philip to go and bring them over, he very frustratingly gives a lesson about wheat. He first tells them that the hour has come that the Son of Man be glorified. Now, we have the advantage of reading this account post-crucifixion and resurrection. But what the disciples were assuredly thinking is, this is it! It's game time. Jesus is going to lead a successful, violent overthrow of the Roman government and reestablish the kingdom of Israel and the throne of David. Here it is. Let's go! Well, that's not really the case. What Jesus is telling them, in not so many words, is I'm about to be glorified, but it's not by human metrics. My glorification comes through the cross. Now, in the honor-shame culture of the Middle East, there is absolutely nothing glorious about a cross. The whole point of the cross is to kill you in the most excruciating and humiliating way possible, and to rob you of your last shred of dignity as you hang there naked, gasping, and struggling for your very last breath. But for Jesus, this is precisely the avenue he takes towards victory and glory. But then Jesus starts talking about wheat. A stalk of wheat by itself is just a lonely little stalk. It's not really doing anything but standing there, but when that wheat is harvested, then it is ground up into grain and it has a much more valuable purpose. Likewise, our path to victory and glory is not asserting ourselves over others, it's not puffing out our chest, it's not being combative with those whose views are different from our own. Rather, our path to victory and glory is through the sacrificial laying down of ourselves. The very first thing we have to do to become a Christian is to admit that we fail, that we can't achieve restoration to God and eternal life on our own. We have to lay down our selfish inclinations, submit to the way that Jesus would have us live, and reject our own way. Ultimately, our way just leads to destruction. Jesus says that those who love their worldly lives will lose them, but those who hate their lives, or I know that's a strong word, but those who at least would reject their lives for kingdom living, right, will keep their lives for eternity. This doesn't mean that Jesus wants us to be self-loathing and suicidal, not at all. But those who love their lives just the way it is without Jesus getting in the way, well, they will find that they will lose it. And those who are willing to lay down their lives, their preferences, maybe even their rights in submission to God's will, well, they're going to find they don't lose anything at all. But in fact, they gain everything and more than they could ever ask for. Jesus goes on to say that if we desire to serve him, we must follow him. Where are we following him to? Well, the cross. We follow Jesus' self-sacrificial example, and we lead a life that is centered on and bends towards the gospel. That means serving people in ways that are not always in our personal interests. If we do, though we may be scorned by our friends, our family, or even the culture, God himself will honor us. So our path towards ultimate glory, towards ultimate victory, is through the laying down of ourselves in self-sacrifice. So let me leave you with a few questions. Does the pattern of your life bend towards the gospel? What prevents you from being more self-sacrificial, and how can you exercise selflessness this week? Well, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I pray that you have a wonderful rest of your week, and God bless.